Reviews. I am your host, Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son, and I'm still recovering. I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot of beer last night. This morning I do not feel good, but I said, hey, I covered Tenchi Muyo on Christmas Eve. I finally got to finish Tenchi Muyo. The final episode came out, so I have to review it. I have to get my thoughts out on this. You know, Tenchi Muyo is one of my favorite series. At least Tenchi Muyo is probably in the top 10. Most likely, maybe top 5. It might be Tenchi Universe and all that. But anyway, so I'm covering Tenchi Muyo, and here we go, man. I mean, I think that 4 minutes, and you had 50 episodes, but you had 10 recap episodes. So there's 60 episodes total for this series. But I really think the 4-minute format really hurt this series because it doesn't leave a everlasting impression. I mean, going from week to week to week, you really just got to kind of like, there wasn't really anything too special or anything memorable, and you kind of forgot some things going week by week by week. It just doesn't really scream out rewatchable. I really think the 25-minute 12 episodes would have done it really justice, would have gave it more to do, more to play around, get the characters more fleshed out. But the 4-minute format it just all felt kind of a little bit rushed. It really felt like we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. It's kind of confusing. What the hell's going on? There was a lot of what the hell's going on in this series until the very end, which I still going, what the hell is going on? I kind of got it, but then I kind of that was kind of pointless, and kind of the story didn't really fulfill my every need in a Tenchi Muyo series. Now let's talk about the characters. I think the memorable ones I remember is Momo-chan, Hachika Swan, Benny-chan. Benny-chan and Hachiko is probably one of my two of my favorite new characters. They're not, oh my god, amazing, but I like their art, I like their attitudes, I like their characters a little bit, even though these characters were just your generic, wasn't really fleshed out characters that you wish for an anime or a Tenchi Muyo series to have. I mean, Tenchi Muyo is not overall, the best writing in the world when it comes to characters, but what Tenchi Muyo really did was they brought those characters out, they really just brought them out, really just fleshed them out with other characters. There's a lot of great interaction with that. There's a lot of great humor in these characters. You have humor, you have their interactions, but it's all boring. You don't really care for these characters as much as you care from the original cast. And I think that's all we wanted to see was the original cast. Now, the humor in this was it wasn't funny. It wasn't really funny. I think maybe there's one part that was funny. It wasn't funny. It wasn't as good of a humor as the original series. And you got to go back to the original series because this is a Tenchi Muyo series, and you got to see, you can compare the two, and they changed so much from the original series to now. They made it more modern, made it more of a fan service type deal, which is kind of fine, but I would love that nostalgia, that, like I said in my other review, that kind of realistic but not realistic kind of feel where they're all just in the house, just really living as a family, a dysfunctional family. It's great to see all the stuff that happens to them and how they interact and how they proceed with a lot of things that happen around their lives. With this, not so much. You have a straightforward story. Tenchi has to help Momo-chan at some point. Not going to ruin it. There's a lot of things that are a twist in towards the end as well. But overall, there's a lot of goofiness and stuff that they got to get along the way. They go along the way. It's just not. It's not memorable. This show is not the best show in the world, but it's not the worst of the Tenchi series. It's not as confusing as Tenchi Muyo Ryoki. But it's not the best one. But like I said, it's not a horrible series. The characters on here, you have the president, then you have all the student council, then you have the science club. They're not all too memorable. You're going to forget them after a while. This is a Tenchi Muyo series that tried to do the modern age, try to, get all these new fans, these new people to join in this Tenchi Muyo series. But I think it kind of failed because there wasn't anything in here that you could really take away from. There wasn't too much, like I said, it wasn't very memorable. There wasn't anything special about this series other than bringing them, bringing in the old cast and us wanting to see what the old cast, how their interactions were going to be, what their looks were going to be, if they were the same, somewhat like the same characters from the old OVAs. But honestly, if they didn't really act like the old cast didn't really act like the old cast of the old OVAs. Now, a lot of people are confused on saying, well, where does this take place? Does it just take place in Tenchi Muyo Ryoki? Does it take place in Tenchi Universe? Or Tenchi in Tokyo? Of course not, because Kyone's not in here. But this is its own separate thing. This is another own separate OVA. It doesn't take place in any of these storylines. So that's what I've read. And so it's its own thing. Now, what else? I mean, the music was pretty good. The music really fit the tone, the pacing, you know. I love Ryoko. I wish we had more Ryoko and Tenchi moments. They were there, though, but it was like just barely there. The Tenchi and Ryoko moments. I just would have loved to see the old cast really interact with each other. Washu was hardly in it. She was in it, but she was really in the background. No Ryoki at all until the very end. So that was a little disappointing. Other than that, I mean, like I said, the series, the editing, like the 4-minute format just doesn't work. It doesn't, and they didn't really give you anything to really, go back and say, oh yeah, this was an amazing series. I got to go back and watch it. It's not an amazing series, but it's not a horrible series. It's definitely not as bad as Tenchi GXP. I think that Tenchi GXP is just a horrible one. Well, a lot of people, there's fans of that, so I can understand that they like that. I think I got to put this above Tenchi GXP and Tenchi Ryoki. Tenchi Ryoki was just so confusing everywhere. It was just ridiculous how fucking all over the place that series was. But there's also great Tenchi Muyo series out there. There's Tenchi Universe. Even a lot of people hate Tenchi in Tokyo, but honestly, I think I like Tenchi in Tokyo more than I like this series. Tenchi Ward of Geminar about his cousin was definitely a well-balanced, better series than this, which is kind of interesting because they had only I believe a 10 episodes, but like 45 minutes each episode. So that was a longer episode with the fewer, longer the episode, but fewer the episodes, if you get what I mean. This one was, shorter time span on the episodes, but you get more episodes in the series. Now, Tenchi War of Geminar, though, it just seems like they really captured that nostalgia, really captured why we like Tenchi Muyo. You're going to bring all these girls in here. There has to be a lot of goofiness, a lot of comedy that works, a lot of interactions that work, and they really nailed that on the nailed that on the head. This one just didn't do it. The comedy just did not work. The interactions were okay. They weren't that great. The relationship between Tenchi and Momo, I didn't really care for. I don't care. I really didn't care. There's not a lot to care about in a series. So, but it was great to see the old cast. Hopefully they, the knuckleheads in the studio, the author really gets, or the manga artist really gets together and say, hey, let's make another Tenchi series and let's do it with just the original cast. You don't have to set it in the same timelines like all these other animes. I would be completely fine if they reboot the whole damn thing for this in today's animation, because the animation looks so clean in this OVA, this Ai Tenchi Muyo, that I would love to see this animation go over to basically another reboot of Tenchi Muyo. It would be nice, and sticking with the manga, because I read some of the manga, and the manga is really great. But yes, and the same people who did Durarara, I don't know if they did Bukanu. I think they did Bukanu, because Durarara and Bukanu are somewhat the same studio and animation, I believe. But the animation was very clean, very good. So there's some positives in here. There's some positives in the series. Very clean, good animation. Love the designs for Ayeka. Nawashu, still not too much. Ryoko, loved her design. Loved all the design for the newer characters. It really did bring out that colorful feeling. It did have that color palette that I really liked. So it would have been nice if they considered doing a reboot of Tenchi Muyo. So that is my review on Tenchi Muyo. Not the best, but not the worst. It's not going to be too memorable, but you know, it is what it is. And if you enjoy Tenchi Muyo, if you enjoyed this whole series, you're going to enjoy this series as well. You're going to, you know, it's just something, if you're a fan, then watch it. Just watch it, because even though it's not what you expected and probably you wish there was more, it doesn't leave you with a bad feeling at all. You feel, you know, you feel satisfied. You're okay. I got my Tenchi Muyo fix in there. Hopefully that next fix is going to be such a big high. Maybe I shouldn't have used that. Well, anyway, so that's my review on Tenchi Muyo. You can check it out on YouTube. They have all the series at Tenchi Forum, I believe. I'll try to get some Tenchi episodes out on my new channel. So thank you guys for listening, and enjoy the rest of your day. And go back and watch some of those old Tenchi Muyo series. You won't regret it. All right, guys.